Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're exploring the breathtaking, honestly cinematic beauty of pristine aquatic landscapes. I want you to picture it. A lone, majestic elephant drinking peacefully beneath a cascading waterfall, while maybe just a few moments away in a misty forest pond, a graceful snow-white swan glides effortlessly across the glassy water. These aren't just beautiful scenes, right? They're vital, dynamic ecosystems. And today, we're going to break down exactly how these incredible environments actually function.
So let's dive right into this by asking a pretty fascinating question. How do these two incredibly different creatures, the delicate bird and the absolute terrestrial giant, survive in and actively shape the serene waters they rely on? It's really a story of adaptation, survival, and the hidden mechanics of nature.
Section 1. Swans grace the water.
As the largest of our waterfowl, it's kind of fascinating to contrast the delicate swan with the sheer magnitude of the African bush elephant. On one side, we have quiet swans forming lifelong pair bonds in secluded forest ponds. On the flip side, you've got massive elephant herds powerfully wading their way through sprawling wetland systems like the Okavango Delta. Both are completely dependent on the water, but their impacts and their lifestyles are literally worlds apart.
Now, swans are uniquely built for these tranquil ponds. Those elegant S-curved necks, they aren't just for show. They actually act as specialized tools, letting the birds plunge deep into the bottom mud to forage for submerged aquatic plants. And their fluffy cygnets are incredibly quick learners, taking to the water just days after hatching. If they manage to navigate past predators and hold on to their habitat, these beautiful birds can grace our lakes for up to 30 years in the wild, maintaining those lifelong pair bonds the whole time.
Section 2. Elephants at the river.
When massive herds gather at vital lifelines, places like Botswana's Chobe River or the incredible floodplains of the Okavango Delta, their reliance on the water is absolutely staggering. I mean, an adult elephant requires 150 to 200 liters of water every single day just to survive the harsh African sun. That's like emptying a standard bathtub. Actually, scratch that. It's more like draining a massive industrial barrel of water every single day. Because of this massive requirement, their movements are entirely dictated by their deep, almost map-like spatial memory of rivers, springs, and waterholes.
Section 3. Giants engineering the ecosystem. But what happens when these rivers run dry in places like Tsavo? Well, this is where elephants become brilliant ecosystem engineers. Instead of giving up, they methodically dig right into the dry riverbeds. First, they use their powerful tusks to loosen the compacted sand and gravel. Then, using those highly dexterous trunks, they scoop out the material. And here's the truly amazing part. They actually prefer this. The sand acts as a natural purifier, so it gives them access to subsurface water that is much cooler and naturally filtered of bacteria compared to stagnant surface pools. How cool is that?
And here is why this matters to the rest of the landscape. These wells rarely benefit only the elephants. Once the water is exposed, these holes become shared community resources. They provide a literal life-saving drink for a multitude of other species, from birds to antelopes and smaller mammals. These are creatures that physically lack the ability to dig through that compacted sand themselves, so the elephant is basically sustaining the broader web of life during a drought, a real game changer for the ecosystem.
Section 4. The value of biodiversity.
Having seen these incredible animals in action, let's zoom out to the broader picture. Biodiversity. Rather than just a dry scientific term, think of biodiversity as the absolute interconnectedness of our planet. It links the resilient genetics of a single swan all the way to the sprawling complexity of the entire Okavango Delta. Every plant, every insect, every giant mammal plays a totally critical role in keeping the system stable and resilient. Conserving this interconnected web isn't just about saving animals because they're beautiful to look at. It provides massive, tangible benefits to us too. We're talking about crucial ecological functions, like those wetlands filtering our drinking water, as well as immense economic resources and really profound cultural and social value for communities worldwide. Beyond just basic survival, these diverse ecosystems offer us everything. From the consumptive and productive values, like the genetic diversity that secures our food crops and gives us the basis for modern medicines, to the deeply personal, social, and aesthetic values. Think about the peace, the inspiration, and the recreational joy you feel when you visit a pristine national park or even just see a gorgeous wildlife photograph. That scenic beauty literally improves our mental health and drives a thriving ecotourism industry.
Section 5. Protecting our fragile waters.
Unfortunately, these pristine blue oases and the magnificent creatures that inhabit them are facing an incredibly fragile future. If we look closely at what's happening, we see a complex web of threats, from habitat loss to pollution. Almost all of these are driven by human activities that are rapidly destabilizing the very environments that swans, elephants, and, well, humanity rely on.
As agricultural expansion drains wetlands and clears forests, animals simply run out of room. This severe habitat loss inevitably pushes creatures like elephants out of their natural zones and right into human farms looking for water, which drives dangerous and sometimes tragic man-wildlife conflicts. Add to that the devastating impacts of poaching, which strips away key species, and climate change altering weather patterns to dry up historic rivers, you can see how the entire food web is being pushed to the brink.
But there is a path forward. To fight back, we need a strong, two-pronged action plan. First, we have in situ conservation, protecting animals right where they live by establishing and strictly managing wildlife sanctuaries and national parks. Second, we need ex situ safety nets, things like captive breeding programs and seed banks to preserve their genetics. But honestly, neither of these works without real, on-the-ground involvement in education within local communities.
Ultimately, protecting biodiversity isn't just an economic or ecological necessity, it's a profound ethical imperative. It's rooted in a fundamental respect for all life, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. We are the stewards of this planet, and we have a shared responsibility to manage the Earth sustainably. We absolutely have to ensure we aren't the last generation to witness its wonders.
As we wrap up this explainer, remember that the intricate web connecting the mighty elephant to the graceful swan is delicate, but it's incredibly resilient if we just give it the space to thrive. So I leave you with this to ponder. What role will we play in ensuring these majestic scenes, these beautiful aquatic landscapes, remain a reality for the generations that follow us? Thanks so much for exploring with me today.